they gonna have a break?
It's going to be back to back because of Timoria. Because give them sufficient time.
So they're gonna get it
Probably.
I know, I heard 68 was last.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
Now we can hear you.
We're not quite starting yet, but if you haven't had an opportunity to grab a note card from the check-in table, to write a question for the candidates, this is your opportunity. Now, I know you guys have questions. I know you have issues that are near and dear to your heart. And I don't want you to keep it in your heart. I want you to go ahead and let it out and let these magnificent candidates speak to those issues. They deserve to know what's on your mind, Sandra. They deserve to know what's on your mind so that they can work for you. So the only way democracy works is if the people speak. And you're the people, so we need you to go ahead and write down your questions so the candidates will have an opportunity to answer. Still got a couple more minutes before we get started, but if you didn't get a note card, raise your hands and I'll make sure you get one.
Good evening, everyone. It is out. If I may ask you all to please take a seat. And welcome. Please get into your seats. We're about to get started. So good evening, everyone. I'm Pullen, and I am the president of Fayette County Women. Welcome to our candidates forum. What an opportunity to watch democracy in action. As someone who, as someone who grew up in a dictatorship, I remember my mother coming home and saying, "I've already voted." Well, guess what? No matter how hard they're trying to take our vote rights away, we plan on voting. And tonight is an opportunity to become an informed voter. Be able to cast an informed vote for the candidate that best represents your interests. With that said, I know we have a couple of additional candidates that are not part of tonight's forum, and I would appreciate it. I would appreciate if you guys would stand up and introduce yourselves.
Hello, my name is Timoria. I'm running for state radio commissioner for the state of Georgia. Just out here to listen, learn more about the candidates in the district over here, and also earn your vote in the law to support. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Anybody else? Okay, with that said, I know Richard. Richard, please introduce yourself.
My name is Wright, candidate for lieutenant governor, here to listen twice as much as I talk. You know I like to talk. So I'm glad to be here and glad to learn.
Thank you. Thank you all who came tonight to be informed, to support various candidates, and to be part of the democratic process. A heartfelt thank you to the All Things Voting team, co-chaired by Tommy Campbell and Ebony Compellion, who've done an amazing job preparing tonight. And thank you to Michelle and Cynthia for running the kitchen. If any of you have had the chance to get some wings, you know that I was I would also like to thank every single candidate that's going to be on the stage tonight. It takes courage, dedication, hard work, sacrifice, their behalf, sacrifice oftentimes on the behalf of their families to run. And it's amazing to have so many Democrats running right now. I know that not everybody can win, but we're winning because we have so many people willing to step up. So we know that moving forward, we'll have lots of energy to win, not just in May, but in November and next year again. So thank you all again. Without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Brooks.
Well, good evening, everyone. As you said, I'm Dr. Brooks, and tonight y'all are so excited just to bring this forum to you. But I'm not going to talk a whole bunch, but just realize that tonight I kind of want to say this. Each candidate is very passionate about what it is they do, what they want to accomplish. So what we're going to do is make sure that, number one, we're all very respectful. You're supposed to say yes, Cheryl.
Yes.
We're going to make sure that, we do respect one another. We may have some differences of opinion. We may have some things that we kind of don't like. So as an audience, no booing, no clapping, no hissing, and no any of the other stuff. You understand? But having said that, I'm just going to read the rules of what we're going to do. We're going to try to stay on schedule. And we do have requests. So first of all, this forum, we begin with local and state candidates running. We have local and state candidates running unopposed, followed by the Senate House races in this order: District 34, 82, 69, and 68. Speaking order with each candidate will be randomly selected, so there are numbers that they will choose. But here's the thing: each participant will have approximately 7 to 8 minutes, no more than 9. That will include 1 minute of introduction, followed by 2, maybe 3 questions, and then at the end we'll have 1 minute to wrap it up. So again, you have a total minutes of 9. So when you get up here, please understand, if you see a card goes up, just saying, hey, your time is up, wrap it up, and you see the yellow or the orange card, and then we're just going to continue this thing moving. So y'all ready to have a quorum? Ready to have a quorum. The Democratic Party will bring the House, so we'll please take their place. And I'm going to scoot out of the way, and we will have Chandra Wright will be the first one to come up.
Go ahead. Yes. Good evening. Good evening. I am so happy to be in the house. I am. The first thing I'd like to say is I just want to thank the members of Fayette Democratic Women. Thank you. I know firsthand how much time and energy and effort it takes to do a forum, in particular when it's an in-person forum. And I just have to say, I know I speak on behalf of all of the candidates who are here when we say that we are truly grateful for this opportunity that you're providing us to just tell you a little bit about ourselves and answer any questions that you might have as a community. So thank you for that, Lady. Thank you, Madam President. So good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. I am running for Fayette County Commission District 3. Yeah. Thank you. And I'm running because I truly believe in people-centered government. People-centered government. Leadership that listens, connects, and truly represents the voice of the community. The power is truly with the people, and our government should reflect that. For years, I was encouraged to run. Many, many years, but I knew I was not ready. I needed to prepare. So I did the work. I served in the Planning and Development Department of the city of Peachtree City. I learned firsthand how local government decisions are made and how every decision that is made in those offices impact the people of the community. I went back to school and gained a Master of Public Policy. It was really interesting being in the class with a bunch of 20-year-olds. And I pulled it off. because I wanted to understand that intersection between politics and between policy. There is a difference. I think there's way too much politics going on and not enough good, solid policy. So I wanted to prepare myself. And finally, I served with some of the best organizations on the planet. I hit the streets. I talked to voters. I knocked on doors. I made phone calls. I raised money. And I really got into the ether of the people of Fayette County. So I really do feel at this point that my journey has led me right here. Hey, look, I'm a wife, I'm a mother. My youngest went to Booth Middle School and McIntosh High School. And my community has given a lot to me and my family. And it's because of this and this alone that I am both honored and excited to finally step forward and offer myself in service to the people of my community. Because at the end of the day, this role isn't just about policy. It's about the people. And I'm ready to serve. Thank you.
One question I do have for you from the floor is, what have you done in the community to build trust?
Oh, wow. You know, building trust is a process, and it's a journey. What you really have to do is, if you are able to be accountable, when you say you're going to do something, do it. When you make a mistake, admit it. When you give an answer, know what you're talking about. When you don't have the information, say you don't, but do the work required to go and find out. When it requires coalitions, build them. When it requires you to take a stand when everybody else stands against you because it's the right thing to do, you have to know how to stand. So I think during my journey, I have absolutely had an opportunity to do every last one of those things. I have had so many people come to me when they found out that I was going to run and say thank you. And I'm very, y'all have to admit, it's a scary thing. It's one thing. I have helped many people run for office. I have raised money for everybody else. I have done the thing for others. But when you have to do it for yourself, it's a whole different game. And I'm here to tell you that I'm going to do the very best job that I can do. I'm accountable to you. Anything that you want to talk to me about, I am open to the conversation. Any issues that you would like for me to address, I want to hear about it, because I have every intention of winning this seat for the people in Fayette County, District 3.
Another question for Commissioner District 3. How do you feel about public transportation, and do you see Fayette County getting more public transportation with U.S. Soccer coming to this county?
Somebody's trying to get me. Well, let me say this. I know that public transportation is something that is of great concern to a lot of people for a variety of different reasons. Traffic is probably one of the biggest issues of District 3. That intersection at 5474, since the moment I hit the Georgia County and Peachtree City and Fayette County, it has been the thing that people have talked about. And me coming from other areas, I do understand the value of public transportation. I very much did take advantage of public transportation when I was in Illinois. So I understand it. This thing has to be looked at in this way. When Peachtree City, which is the largest part of District 3, was incorporated and it's a planned community. And if you go back and look at the history of District 3, you will see that the reason for the 100 miles of golf path, did you guys know we had 100 miles of golf path? Okay. The reason for it was because they knew that traffic would be a problem and they wanted to offset it. They wanted people to be able to get from end to end in Peachtree City on their golf carts. I love this story because I gotta tell you, it lets me know that the planners, the founders of Peachtree City understood even at that time that the ability to move in a way that does not cause traffic congestion and pollution was absolutely critical. And we are still worrying about that issue today. So I will not sit here and tell you that I have the answer for that, but I will tell you that it's so important that we understand as a community, you know, how we can take some of the cars off the street, and there's a variety of different things that we can do, how we can alleviate the traffic, and that requires coalitions built with, coalitions built with the state and with other municipalities. And I promise you that I will do my very best to make sure that whatever mechanisms and tactics we can institute in order to get some of these cars off the street and alleviate this problem, that's what I will be doing, and I'll be doing it in concert with communicating with the community. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you so much. We have a question?
I have a question.
Yes.
I came in a little late, so you may have already answered this, but what benefit can District 3 get from you?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you something, to be perfectly honest, because I feel like I'm in a room with family right now. I am that person who believes that it is the job of the public servant to go time and, quite frankly, the inclination to come to every meeting and sit through all of the things that you would have to sit through in order to be able to connect with me. I believe that it will be my job to come to you and meet you where you are. So what will you get from me being a commissioner? You'll get a person who is passionate about bringing myself to the people, being in constant communication, constantly educating you on what is going on the commission, constantly giving you information around how this impacts your life, your daily life, and getting input so that when I go back to the table, when I am sitting with the other commissioners, I am able to properly represent the people of my district. And I'll tell you one more thing. Whether you're in my district or not, everyone, each and every one of you wants me on this board. I'm going to tell you why you want me on this board. You want me on this board because it is so important. The Board of Commissioners, one of the biggest things that they do is they, approve budgets. Right? They decide how the money is spent. They administer. They pull the taxes from everybody. They decide in many ways how budget is going to be allocated. And I will tell you, how you allocate your budget is based on your values. That's a fact. And so you really do have to have a variety of different types of commissioners who sit on that board, who bring the varying perspectives of the people, of the citizens, to the discussion, in particular as it relates to how we spend our money. So that is, I think I bring that to the table.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My mic is doing a thing. Good thing I have a big mouth. But at this time, I think we're moving on to District.
Did you do a closing remarks?
Pardon me?
Did you do a closing?
Yes, ma'am. We got 1 minute for closing.
So over the course of this campaign, one thing is very, very clear. That multiple things can be true at one time. I have learned that over the course of my tour of duty, as I call it, my journey. Multiple things can be true at the same time. And in a growing community like District 3, this really matters. Through my work in this community, listening, learning, and growing alongside you, I've come to understand that people-centered government requires us to truly hear different perspectives, respect them, and bring them into the conversation. Because if we're not connected, if we're not in constant communication, we can't create policies that actually work for the people we serve. My passion, what I am most committed to, is being a true representative, somebody who listens, who shows up, and who brings your voice to the table when decisions are being made. For years, I was asked to run, and I'll be honest, I was not ready. But each year, with each challenge, with each victory, with each conversation and experience, I grew and I evolved. District 3, Fayette County, I'm ready. I'm honored to be in this race, and I humbly ask you for your support, your vote, and your prayers. My website is voteforchandra.com. Please visit to learn a little bit more about me and connect with my campaign. I need your help. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Just a reminder that if you do have questions, please take our index card and write it down and give it to us, okay? All right, next we will have Kenya Wicks, State Senate District 34. Just to remind the audience, you will have a total of 9 minutes. 1 minute for her introduction, and then we'll take questions, and then she will have 1 minute for her closing. Kenya Wicks.
Well, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
How y'all doing today? Awesome. I didn't know how this was going to flow, but I guess I'm up here by myself. So as a first-time legislator, this has been a humbling and grateful experience, I must say. As a 30-year Army veteran, I have thanked you for your support. It was a learning experience for me. I learned a lot, and I was able to work across the aisle, work with my colleagues, the Republicans. And I was able to introduce 4 bills and get 2 across the Senate and into the House. And I believe of putting people before the party and before politics. And as you all know, and maybe some of you don't know, I'm always in the community. I'm always everywhere. Because my grandmother has always taught me to treat people the way you want to be treated. And make sure that I am a grassroots candidate, and I always make sure that your voices are heard. That's the most important thing with me, making sure that your voices is heard. Because I don't know everything, and that's the most important thing. Listen to what my constituents want. I have over 190 constituents. My district encompasses not only Fayette, but it encompasses Clayton County too. So it encompasses Riverdale, Forest Park, and a little bit of Jonesboro, and the city of Fayetteville. So as a 30-year Army veteran, mental health is very important to me. I was a part of 3 conflicts. So, and not only that,
Your introduction.
Oh,
is
I was trying to, okay, good.
You get 1 minute of introduction, and everybody ask you questions.
Okay. No, okay, so what are you going to do?
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, yes, ma'am.
Okay, great.
Well, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
What is the Democrats' long-term agenda like the Republicans' table for 2025? What is the Democrats' long-term agenda like the Republicans' playbook for 2025?
So our agenda is to one, expand Medicaid, and then 2, expand the minimum wage. Do y'all know that right now the minimum wage is $5.15?
Really?
And yes, ma'am. And at the federal level, it is $7.25. I introduced the bill, Senate Bill 273, to increase minimum wage to $15. It did not get any traction, but I will introduce it again. So that is a part of the Democratic playbook.
Thank you. The next question is, with the push to suppress voter rights, what strategy will you deploy to ensure all votes are counted?
So y'all know right now, the Republicans is trying to employ paper ballots, and they're trying to make it effective 1 July to get ready for the November election. So that is imperative that we make sure our voices are heard. That so y'all know that they just pay all that money for those for the current instruments that we have right now for the QR codes. So we might end up having a special session if we don't get those get resolved in reference to those paper ballots. So they introduced a bill for those paper ballots.
Okay. Last question. Other than getting you elected, what will it take to get expansion in Georgia Medicaid?
Republicans act right.
I didn't write this.
Like someone said, for the Republicans to act right. So Senate Bill 380 to provide affordable health care for hundreds of thousands of Georgians. We introduced that bill. So of course, the Republicans have worked to block that bill. But you know that 4 Republicans did side with us in reference to Senate Bill 380. And then one of the Republicans was bullied to take his name off of that bill. So 4 Republicans did side with us. One was bullied. His name was Senator Hickman. He was bullied to take his name off of that bill. And it's imperative that we continue to show up. I mean, when we have these city committees, y'all come up and let your voices be heard. The Capitol is the people's house. And the reason why I continue to advocate for Medicaid expansion is because not only am I a champion for Medicaid expansion, I receive Medicare and Medicaid as a disabled veteran. So it's imperative, our seniors, our veterans, that is their only line of defense for insurance. So it's imperative that we continue to show up and show out and let your voices be heard. And when we have these town hall meetings, and I continue to have town hall, whether it be in person or virtual, when we have these things, make sure you show up, and my number is available, I'm accessible, but I want to hear from you, and not only myself, Representative Jerry Jackson and Representative Bazemore. So that's the reason why. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, we actually got time for one final question.
Thank you.
Then I'll let you do your closing.
Yes, ma'am.
How would the state address gun violence while respecting constitutional rights?
So gun violence. So I do agree with the Second Amendment, but I want to make sure that there is a universal background check. That's very imperative, that a universal background check, because the guns should not. We've been on a public safety committee. It's imperative that a universal background check to make sure that guns is not in the hands of people that does not supposed to have guns, i.e. your mental health and stuff like that. So I do agree with the Second Amendment, but there are some people that's not supposed to have guns. So just making sure that we have a universal background check, and you're supposed to wait 3 additional days in reference to making sure that you're supposed to have the gun in your hands, in your possession.
Thank you. So now if you want to give us your 1-minute closing, we will listen for that. I didn't write the quiz.
I had a lot more to say, but that's okay though. But what I will say is to continue to support me. Make sure you check out my website. And when you go onto my website, sign up for my newsletters. I send out a newsletter every 2 weeks. Kenya for Georgia, KENYAFOR, Georgia.com is my website. And also, I am on the ballot again. And if you could, donations are acceptable. If y'all want to get on the campaign trail and knock on doors with me, or a donation is acceptable, or if you just want to come out and hear, I'm also having a affordable resource fair for our seniors, and I'm partnering up with Georgia Power to make sure that anything that in reference to our seniors and our veterans, all the resources for them, those are the type of things that I continue to do to be in the community and make sure that our seniors, our veterans, and everybody has the resources available. So check out my website, Kenya for Georgia, and my phone number, everybody have my phone number, is 404-452-1418. Thank you, and thank you for everything that y'all do for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Kenya. Thank you so much. Again, I want to remind everyone that if you do have questions, please write them down and get them up here, and we will ask them. And we will continue the forum where they will have 1 minute for their introduction. They will ask as many questions that we can within that 7-minute time. They have a total of 9 minutes. So yes, next we have. Okay.
So I apologize for the microphones. I'm not sure what's going on, why they keep turning on and off. They do have new batteries, so. Okay.
Also, just to remind you, when we have you coming up, if you don't mind, you can stand up when you're addressing the people, because I think people in the back really can't see or hear, okay? Okay, that's fine. All right, next we have House District 69, September Cooper.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here. I'm September Cooper, your next state representative for District 69, which represents both the city of South Fulton and Fayette County. I'm a mother, a nurse, and an active advocate for change and growth in our community. As I serve as a board member on the Development Authority for the city of South Fulton, where I'm actively involved in creating and coordinating growth in the growth of our city, the city of South Fulton, and also Fayette County. I'm running for state representative in District 69 because I believe that our community deserves more than just the same old empty promises. We deserve real opportunity right here where we live. Too many families in our district are navigating challenges that shouldn't exist, struggling to access quality health care, watching our schools stretch limited resources, and seeing development happen around us without always benefiting us. This campaign is about changing that with balance and coordination with local authorities to implement this change, which is needed. It's about making sure healthcare is accessible in our neighborhoods, not miles away. It's about ensuring our education system prepares our children not just to graduate, but to thrive, whether that's college, a trade, or starting a business. And it's about driving economic development that creates jobs, supports small businesses, and builds real wealth within our community. Because at the end of the day, opportunity shouldn't be something you have to leave your neighborhood to find. It should be something you can build right here at home.
That's the introduction. We thank you so much, Ms. Cooper. Well, here's your first question. What will you do to make housing and food more affordable?
As far as housing is concerned, I'm very heavily involved in trying to make sure that affordable housing is created. Housing should be affordable everywhere, not just in the metro area, but the outer areas as well. In the city of South Fulton, we've actually been approved for what they call a GITCH through the Department of Community Affairs for the state of Georgia. And I intend to try to see what can be done here as well in Fayette County, because there's not a lot of affordable housing here. And we need more. We need to be able to do those things. As far as food is concerned, I'm actually on a board as well for a nonprofit called the Urban Food Movement. So we actually go around to different businesses, your larger supermarkets as well as your smaller supermarkets, and we acquire food that would normally be thrown out. And we go around and we hand those out to homeless shelters, shelters that are especially for women and children, for veterans, We also go out on the corners in the communities and hand out the food. We put signs up and give the food out as well.
Thank you. The next question is you to elaborate. What does a clever mind connected to a caring heart means to you?
As a nurse and as a mom.
Okay.
A clever mind has to have that empathy for that heart. To have that heart, you have to be caring and giving. You have to have both sides. There's no way that you can have just an eye and a team that you need. Your community is your team. Every single person that is here that I would love to vote for is my eye, is my team. I can't say I without any of you. Don't mind me, I'm a mom.
There you go.
Well, the next question is, what are the top 3 issues facing District 69 right now, and what specific legislation would you support to address them?
Oh, the top issues in District 69 right now. So one of the major issues that we have in District 69 right now is House Bill 1386, in which we wanted the cities in South Fulton County to have more power in what is being built in your communities. Fayette County has the same issue that South Fulton has. You guys do not have the opportunities to be able to step up and say, I want these things built in my community, or I do not. They are built, and you have no say-so. In the city of South Fulton, we lost $35 million for different projects that were built throughout our community, including data centers. As a member of the board of the Economic Border Development, we only approved 2, and we got 7. Because 5 went through the Fulton County Development Authority. So for those who look around and see things that are being built, such as that data center that you guys didn't want to build next to the hospital, it's because there was nobody independent to say, I don't want this in my city. I want it in the county, but I don't want it in my city. So that's one of the main things. As far as education, we do need more workforce. We do need more trades to be out here, trade programs, because not every child is meant to go to college. Not everybody is college ready. And we know, especially in the generations before mine, we had trades. The trades are going away. We need to bring those back so these children have other things to fall back on. Those are definitely things, and mental health. Mental health is definitely something that is not adequate here in the state of Georgia, much less our area at all. I'm a heavy advocate of it. I am a mental health nurse with a strong background in that. We need to be able to advocate for people who have mental health. We can't be the problem and not fix what the problem is. We have to fix that problem and not just give a cause. We can't give, as I say as a nurse, we can't give a pill for everything. We have to figure out what the issue is first and work with people, meet them where they're at, and from there, we can work to make things better, bring opportunities, bring programs, see what can be done on multiple levels, the local level, all the way to the legislative and judicial level.
We were trying, no, you're fine. We were trying to let you get that point out, you know, everything. But the clock is right here, y'all, so if you ever want to look and see what's going on, we want to keep up with you as well. Okay, and now this is your time for your closing. What you would like to tell us?
So I am here to be a servant of our community. This campaign is about building a District 69 where opportunity isn't something you leave for, it's something you live in. So please remember to vote for me.
Also, if you did not get an opportunity to sign in, please do so. This is the way we can connect and communicate with you, and you can keep up with things that the Democratic women of Fayette are doing. So please make sure that you sign in. Next, we're going to hear from State House District 82 candidates, and they are pulling cards to see who will go first. First, I remind you that they will give you a 1-minute introduction, and they'll answer questions from 7 to 9 minutes, or from 7 to 8 minutes, and then they'll have 1 minute for closing. So.
Now, is it me and then Anthony, or?
It's you, and then I'm going to ask my questions.
Okay.
All right, you may begin.
All right, hi everybody, my name is William Harris. Most of y'all might remember me. I've run for you in 2020, 2022. I did not run in 2024, so there's a fun story with that. Whenever I ran in 2020, I got 44% of the vote against our opponent, Karen Mathiak, and they gerrymandered us. And they changed the district from 73 to 74. I got all these signs, and then the Georgia Supreme Court came back and said, oh, it's illegal. They gerrymandered me again. And then guess what? They put myself and Mr. Dickson here in the exact same district. We both keep running every 2 years. Anthony ran for you 2 years ago. But that's just kind of how they trick, right? I was born in Atlanta, and whenever they kept gerrymandering me, I don't even need it. If you're a politician, you hear me, right? So I was born in Atlanta, and I've lived in Griffin my whole life. I moved to Fayette. We're both Griffin natives, and so we've lived there our whole lives. Whenever they gerrymandered me, I realized we're not going to take, if they're going to cheat us out of political power, then we're going to make community power. And so that's whenever I started the baseball and cooperative. And then we've been out in the community. If y'all seen the protests going around, that was us. We started that. I explicitly started anti-fascist organizing in 2023, 2 years before Donald Trump was elected. I think there's value in that. I am able to see what's ahead, and I'm able to start mobilizing the community towards these goals. I'm building the political infrastructure precisely because whenever we're running these districts, unfortunately, people ignore our districts because the Republicans likely to win. But if Fayette is the front lines of the county, if Fayette's the front lines of flipping this state blue, then that means that our district, and myself and Anthony are the front lines. And so please give us money and resources so that we can invest in finding Democrats. Thank you.
Thank you for that introduction.
It's still
you, yes. You have to get all yours done. The first question I have for you is, how will you work with community organizations to improve quality of life?
Perfect. So I actually have a track record with this. So whenever we do big projects with the FSC, we actually find community organizations to work with us. The Fayette Democratic Women, one of these organizations. I've been a member since 2020. The Fayette Democratic Women actually trained me. We also go with other organizations, Washington County Democrats. Like, whenever we're talking about how do we bring in the community, I'm already doing that. I'm bringing the community already, especially for these big protest events, right? You'll find me a lot. If you go to my website, revwiththepeople.com, you'll find me in the newspaper a lot for leading protests. I'm out in this community, and I'm already bringing the community together. So I hope that answered that question. Yeah.
How will you attract businesses and jobs to Griffin and surrounding areas without displacing current residents?
Perfect. So a little bit about my family's history is that my mom worked for the cotton mills of Griffin, and then my grandparents worked for the cotton mills of Griffin. Then NAFTA came through, closed everything up. And now if you cross the Flint River, so in this community here, the average median household income is $100,000. But if you cross the Flint into the other part of the district, it's around $36,000. And it's just because the economy of Griffin collapsed. They didn't come through and build any kind of infrastructure or anything like that. Very specifically with my campaign, I worked with organizations like the Georgia Cooperative Development Center. I even have the proclamation from Brian Kemp declaring October the National Month of Worker Cooperatives. And if you go to my website, you can learn more about cooperative-based economics. Basically, to answer this question, we need to invest in our communities in a different way. I'm very community over corporations. And so that means that whenever I'm talking about business ownership, I want my community to own the businesses that we shop at and go to, and so that we can start keeping wealth local. Whenever you go to Walmart, they charge you extra, and all that money goes to the wealthiest family on Earth. Right? They don't need more money. We keep the money here by working on cooperative-based economics. I already have the infrastructure for this. I'm already in the state systems and all this other kind of stuff, and I'm even recognized by Brian Campbell for this.
All right, thank you. How would you improve public school outcomes in Spalding County?
Oh, goodness. So, yes, the long story, born in Griffin, why am I in Fayette? The unfortunate reality is that the Spalding County school system, the best kind of school there is a 3 out of 10. In 2015, there was an opportunity to move, and at the time, the lowest Fayette school was a 9 out of 10, and I had a 2-year-old. I have 2 children as well, so I'm also a father here. I went through Spalding County Public Schools, so I went to Orrs Elementary and then later Castle Road. And the number one thing that we need to do is actually invest in our education system. It's the best education system that we can do. We know that in terms of inmate education, for every $7 that we spend on inmate education, we get $7 back as a society in savings. And so, why wait for them to go to jail for this? Why not just invest very heavily in them before they go to jail, right? At the end of the day, this is also based on the cooperative-based economic model that I am proposing to y'all, because whenever we have a cooperative-based model and we share ownership of our businesses, then it means that the co-owners of our business, we want them educated, we want them to be up on the same level as us, because their success is our success.
Okay. If elected, what role do you believe you play as a Georgia legislator in passing laws that affect immigration policies, like employment verification, law enforcement cooperation, and access to services?
Okay, so the only thing that we can't focus on is immigration. That's a federal thing, and so we can't do anything with that. I do welcome you to go to my website, representativeofthepeople.com. Lucky to have that one. And where you can actually read more about this. But how I always viewed it, how I see myself, is that I am a leader. I help set direction. I help set platform. I help set agenda. I'm willing to push a little bit. Like I told you, I'm explicitly an anti-fascist organizer. I don't mind pushing. I don't mind advocating for the policies that help out the people. And it kind of gets me in a little bit of trouble sometimes, but that's okay. I don't mind being a little bit of a political agitator with these things. Because at the end of the day, I'm kind of tired of the same old, same old. I'm kind of tired of the decorum and like the gradual reforms. The story that I always like to tell is that my grandmother saw FDR's dead body go through Griffin. FDR, he wanted to fight for things like universal health care, a living wage, and stuff like this. You can actually read about his second Bill of Rights on my website. But my grandmother died at 82 years old, decades ago. Am I to wait as well for these things to change? No. I'm here to fight for y'all. I'm here to fight for my children.
Well, we thank you so much. But now, if you would like, it's your 1 minute closing.
Nice. So 1 minute closing. Again, so I have literature back here. It's the chicken. Why the chicken? Because if you show up, we're the last people you vote for, and if you go, oh, William Harris, the chicken guy. So please grab some literature over here. And again, we can use your resources, representativeofthepeople.com. We can use your resources. I already have the team. We just flipped Griffin. Did y'all know that we flipped Griffin? We just ran Zachary Fuller for the FSC, and we flipped Griffin from conservative control. It used to be the number one guys per capita number of trainsmen in the entire state, and we just flipped it. I have the exact same team. I have the same team, the same drive. I've done this before. Karen is the person. Actually, I saw Karen whenever I was going to qualify, and I told her, I said, no, it's always been a pleasure running against you. We always keep it nice, and I can't wait for whenever I win, because then you can do a transition. Okay. Again, representativeofthepeople.com. Literature back here, please take some, and then thank you.
Thank you, William Harris. Now, Mr. Anthony Dickson, you will have 1 minute for your introduction, and then questions, and then 1 minute closing. The floor is yours.
Good evening. My name is Anthony Dickson, and I'm running for District 82. I was born and raised in Pullen County. I got interested in politics. I served as a city commissioner back in 2000, and campaigned for the person that was in that position. And I decided one day that I could do a better job, and I called him up and told him that I wanted to run for it. He said, "You sure?" I said, "Yes." He said, and I won. I won by 1 vote. So I say that to say this: it's very important that we get out and vote. Whether you're voting for my friend Mr. Harris, you're voting for me, or whomever, it's important that we show it. We have to show it.
Okay, my first question for you is, why should the voters of District 82 choose you? Well, it's 82. No, District 82 choose you over other candidates.
Currently, we have no representation. No one that's fighting for you. So I'm someone that will fight for you. I've been fighting all my life since birth. So I'm here standing. I fought when I was a city commissioner for those that wasn't able to speak, and I spoke for them. I got in a lot of trouble. I welcome trouble. You know, I'm young, so I can handle it. So bring it. So currently, we need someone that's going to represent us, that's someone that's going to fight for us. Right now, when we have issues, they get ignored. No one is standing up speaking about the low wages, expanding Medicaid. We need someone that's going to bring it to their attention. Now, you can bring it to their attention. Currently, that's not being happening. That's not happening. So I'm that person that will get up there and that will fight for you from the front to the back.
Okay. My next question is, what is your plan to improve access to health care and mental health services locally?
On my website, I talk about mental health in the school system for students and for employees. I'm currently a middle school teacher, and I teach business education for 6th through 8th grade students. And my plan is to bring it to their attention. If you haven't experienced it, you don't have a testimony. It's kind of hard for you to stand there and fight for something that you, I'm sorry, that you haven't experienced. So once you experience it and you've been in the midst of it, and then you can testify and you know what you're talking about when you speak. So my job is I've had a lot of experience at crossing over and making connection with people on the other side. So my job is, once this happens, is to get there and to draw a line that we can communicate, that we can at least talk about it. It's not being talked about because it's not on her agenda. So put it on the agenda and talk about it. Get attention on it.
How will you support infrastructure improvements in District 82? How will you support infrastructure improvements in District 82?
The first thing is to make sure that it's beneficial to everyone in the district versus put it on one side of the time and benefit that side of the time. So my plan is to address it and see what the effect it will have on District 82. With District 82, not just District 82, but the state of Georgia, will it benefit the citizens of the state of Georgia?
All right, and if elected to the Georgia General Assembly, you will be in the minority party. How will this affect your strategy?
Well, like I said, it won't be my first rodeo. It's just that I've been a servant all my life. And I know that everything that I say would not be liked, breathed on, but the one thing that I have been able to do, and that's cross line and talk and get people to come together. I've been able to do that.
Okay, the next question is, what role do you believe the state should play in addressing healthcare disparity?
What role should the state?
What role do you believe the state should play in addressing healthcare disparity, inequality of healthcare disparity?
I think that should be one of the main, the number one priority. We are facing shortcomings with Medicaid expansion, going to the doctor, increases in insurance, and the role that they should play is to see how it's affecting the citizens of Georgia. That's the role. Once you see what it's doing to us, then you're able to come up with a plan to a solution to the problem.
Last one. If elected, how would you address federal government activities relating to elections and access to voter information? Okay. If elected, how would you address federal government activities relating to elections and accessibility of voter information?
Well, addressing that will be a sin act. It's not just me. We have to make sure that we stay focused on the goal, and that is to make sure that everyone can vote, and that everyone has the right to vote, and that everyone are allowed to vote. So a lot of this I see as a smoke screen to distract us from getting out, having us to second guess what it is that we want to do. Well, you know, my vote ain't gonna count. You gotta go through all of this, and that's it.
Well, you have 1 minute for your closing remarks.
As I close, I want to remind you that currently we have no representation in my eyes. No one that addressed the issue that you're concerned about. Expanding Medicaid, increase of minimum wage, voter suppression. So that's not being brought up because it's not on their agenda. These are some of the issues that was brought up to me back in 24 and 22. 22, before he drew me out of his district and retired, this was one of the issues that was brought up. What do you plan to do about that? I plan to continue to fight for our rights that our grandmother, our grandfather fought for. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dickson and Mr. Wright. Just to remind everyone that as we move to the next section, dealing with State House District 68, if you do have any questions, please, hold your hand if you've written them and we will collect them. But also make sure that you write them on the index card if you want to make sure that your information, your questions are asked. Okay, we have Mr. Dickson's name badge is misplaced. If you see it anywhere near you, please give that to him.
No, I thought you got it.
We have House District 68. I'm just going to take candidate number 1 is Quentin, number 2 is Courtney, number 3 is Dr. Baker, Timoria is number 4, and Jonathan is number 5, and Jane Williams is number 6. Okay. All right, so I guess we'll start with candidate number 1. And number 1, please remember that you have 1 minute for your introduction and 7 minutes for your questions, and then you have 1 minute for closing. And if we ding you, that means
Test.
I would say be quiet if you ding you. No, I'm kidding.
Ready?
And you have 9 minutes. You have your time here.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Quentin Pullen. I go by Coach Q. First thing I want to say is I want to thank every single candidate sitting on this stage right now because we stepped up in the community to lead. Okay? Now, a little bit about me. I'm a dual service veteran. I served in the Marine Corps, I served in the Navy. I'm a small business owner. There are a lot of them. I'm a mentor in our schools. And I'm a volunteer like you wouldn't believe. There are a lot of things that I do in the community. And what we're going to do tonight is every person up here has democratic values. We're going to talk about healthcare. We're going to talk about schools. We're going to talk about living wage. We're going to talk about all the things that are democratic values. But I'll tell you this right now. I've been out knocking on doors. And people in our community are concerned about how divided we are. That is our main concern right now when I talk to the voters. How can we fix this divide that we have? I'm a bridge builder, and I'm here to run for this seat to build bridges to get things done. I'm Quentin Pullen. Vote for me for District 68.
Mr. Pullen.
Oh,
Question. Yes, sir.
Y'all heard enough, right?
How will you support funding the basic needs of food scarcity while the state budget grows in surplus?
This is a beautiful question. I will tell you from personal experience. One of the things that I've been working on in Fayette County, we created an organization called Together Fayette Grows. And what we're doing is we're taking all of the local gardens, people who grow food here in Fayette, and we built a coalition so that we can actually help feed our neighbors. We've been working on this for the last 6 months, and we're in our grow season right now. We have churches who have gardens. We have people like me and my wife who have gardens. We have people all around this county who Fayette used to be farmland. And so what we're doing right now on the county level, in our city, in the district, is we are coalescing, building a coalition of people to get together so that we can feed each other, right? So if the money runs out, and it is running out because we're bankrupt right now, if the money runs out, we have each other. And so I am that person to come and say, hey, do you mind lending a hand? Let's work together so that we together can feed each other.
Next question. This is a heavily Republican county. Why do you think you can win this election?
Why do I think I can win? These are all Democrats right here, right? This is a Democratic primary. There's no Republican running against us, you know? So,
okay, well.
Yeah.
Again, I
You want to ask me a
question.
question?
All right. How will you actively engage and build trust within the community?
That is a fantastic question. Right now, I've been serving as the Vice President of NAACP. I've been building bridges with organizations in our community. I started off carrying the banner in our MLK Day parade. Now I'm coordinating that event every year, right? I'm talking to people in our community. We built that thing from, low participation to the biggest in the last 2 years that they've had in the last 15 years. So I've built coalitions. I've joined organizations in our community, such as Fayette Factor, such as the Kiwanis Club, such as the Rotary Club, that are building relationships with our community. And we're a small community. Fayette County has only about 120,000 people. That's not a lot of people. So if we can't get together and work together to see things happen in our community, what are we here for? So I believe that as your elected official, I'm going to step over to the other aisle, create relationships with Republicans because they have the majority. And the only way that we're going to get bills passed is that we create relationships with them. Because if we don't, I mean, they are our neighbors. All of us in this room lives next to a Republican in our neighborhood. Yes? Okay. We do, right? We don't hate our neighbors. Our neighbors don't hate us. We have a difference of opinion in politics, but we can get past that. I'm looking at Commissioner Russo back there. He works with Republicans on a daily basis, and they're getting stuff done in Fayette County. As a matter of fact, Fayette County has grown about $30 billion in revenue from the things that they've been managed to pass with our city council and our county commission.
Okay, thank you.
Is that another Republican question?
Okay, all right. What can you tell us about Senate Bill 406? Will Governor kept sign this, and if not, what will you do to get it passed?
Okay, which one is 406?
It says, what can you tell us about 406?
So, what I think, yeah. So, I'm happy that we have a bill for HOAs because one of the reasons that I'm back here in Georgia is because I had an incident with an HOA where they were power overreaching, right? We have HOAs that won't let you put our yard signs out there, so how do we pick voters if we can't put a yard sign out there? We have HOAs, I knocked on the door over in Fayetteville in Briarwood, and the lady told me that they were picking on her for planting flowers, right? That's overreach. Those are things that we can't have. We don't need, there's a joke that says that an HOA is the worst form of government, right? And I tend to believe that because a lot of us get frustrated with our HOAs, and that is the first place when we start experiencing the divide. I hope that Governor Kemp passes that bill because I think that it's going to be good for homeowners to create some synergy in our communities. I got time.
Okay, all right. Hey, I'm moving through them. Okay, what makes you a good leader?
What makes me a good leader? In the military, we learned that the good sign of a leader is who you bring up behind you. Right now, I had a young man from McIntosh High School reach out to me. He said, hey, I've seen your stuff on social media. I think that I want to write an article about your campaign. The first question I asked him is, what do you want to do? And he said, I want to be president. I said, president, that is fantastic. Whatever I can do to help that path along the way, I will do. A good leader listens. They bring up the people behind them. They don't think that they can do everything. They admit when they're wrong, right? And they try their best to do their best job on a daily basis. And that's what I do. That's how I live my life. I try my damnedest. We're not a church, right? So we that was slip. To do my very best every single day.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, we're closing. Yes, sir.
Listen, the best thing that you can do as the electorate, the voters, is Google your candidates. If you put our name in Google with Fayette County or South Fulton, it's going to show you everything about us if we've done something in this county. All right? That's a track record of things that we're doing. I'm a business owner. So all the things that are democratic principles and policies, I want the best for businesses. I want to make sure that our living wage is good for us so that our economically our community rises. I want to make sure that we have health care. Health care is important. Right now, our federal government is taking away our schools and they're taking away our health care, right? Those are the two things that we need to survive to be our very best. So we have to do something about that. And at the state level, we have to create policy that addresses those things. We can't make too many promises because, look, you know, there's people that say, I'm going to be ready on day one to write policy. I went to signing die day last week, and every single bill that every single person wrote that didn't get onto the floor got ripped up and thrown in the air, and you got to start all over again. We have to be passionate about what our mission is. And my mission is to make sure our communities are doing well. Because when all of us do well, then the communities are safer. We have better kids coming out of our communities. We have places for our kids to come back to once they go off to college to be leaders here. I appreciate your time. Coach Q, qforthepeople.com.
Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
All right, so thank you for the opportunity to be here with you all today. My name is Courtney Hurd. My name is Courtney Hurd, and for anything else, I am a neighbor, a veteran, and someone who believes that leadership didn't stop when I took off the uniform. I'm not a career politician. I don't come from a political pipeline. What I bring is real-world experience, leadership under pressure, and a commitment to do the right thing, even when it's not easy. Okay, so my focus is simple. Strong communities, better opportunities, and making sure people feel supported where they live, work, and raise their families. That includes advocating for homeowners, supporting small businesses, strengthening education, and making sure our system works for the people that it's meant to serve. This isn't about politics for me. It's about This isn't about politics for me. It's about people. It's about listening, showing up, and delivering solutions that make a difference. I'm here because I believe we can move forward in a new direction, and I will be honored to serve and represent you today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. What steps would you take to strengthen workforce development programs so they better serve minorities and underserved communities?
For me, the steps that I would take to strengthen workforce is to ensure that education is on the top of my priorities, including technical programs in high schools and allowing adults to participate in those technical programs for training. Also supporting students. Those are the things that I would support.
All right. If elected to the Georgia General Assembly, you will be in the minority. How will this affect your strategy?
Well, I would work across the aisle, reach across the aisle to get people to. So for me, I will reach across the aisle, work with Republicans to pass policies. One thing that I have been working on is Senate Bill 406, which is what you asked about earlier, and I've seen how politics works under the Golden Dome when it comes to passing legislation. How the lobbyists works against us when it comes to getting stuff done that is necessary for the people. So trying to establish those relationships and get policy passed.
Okay. Other than getting you elected, what will it take to get expansion in Georgia for Medicaid?
So to get expansion for Medicaid in Georgia?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you repeat the question?
Other than getting you elected, what will it take to get Medicaid expansion in Georgia?
That I would have to ask. I'm not sure about that, but...
Okay, I can ask you another one. Yes, ma'am. All right. If elected, how will you advocate for women's health care?
So if elected, I would advocate for women's health care too. So women can make their own choices. I will try to. So yeah, I will advocate just so women can make their own choices. Like if you want to get an abortion, I feel like women should have the right to choose if they want to get an abortion. I don't feel like government should be telling us what we should do with our bodies. So those are some of the things and policies that I would support. So make sure that women are being educated and making their own choices instead of somebody else making choices for them.
What role should the state government play in strengthening or improving programs that help families feed their children? Okay. What role should the state government play in strengthening and improving programs that help families feed their children?
I think the government should provide resources to families that don't have the resources to be able to pay for certain foods. Like right now, inflation is high. people can't afford the cost of living right now, and the minimum wage is very low. And so I would support policies that would raise the minimum wage, and just so that people be able to afford the cost of living.
One more question. How will you work with the community organizations to improve quality of life?
So I will work with community organizations to improve the quality of life, to make sure that they have policy or resources available to them. I will talk to be a person that be in the community, see what it is that is lacking, to make sure that I'm taking those voices back to the gold dome.
Thank you so much. Now you have 1 minute for your closing.
So, in closing, my closing, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you to everyone that's here tonight. I chose step forward because, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. As a veteran, I've lived a life of service, and I believe that same commitment should exist right here at home. This is about a new direction for me, one where your voice truly matters, one where leadership is earned through trust and service. If you're ready for that type of leadership and you're ready to be heard, then I ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The next candidate is Dr. Baker. Again, if you all have any questions, please sit right and send them up. And Dr. Baker, you will have 1 minute of introductions and 7 minutes for your questions, and then 1 minute for closing. The floor is yours.
Thank you. First, I would like to take the time and thank everybody who came out tonight. Thank everybody that's a part of the party, who wants to be a part of this process, as well as all of my colleagues who sit behind me, who are stepping up to run for office. It's not an easy thing. It's very challenging and daunting, and I know that because I've been here before. I am one of the founding members of City Council in the city of South Fulton, Georgia. About 9 years ago, 72 of us ran for an office, for 7 offices to run for the city of South Fulton's leadership. And I was the first elected District 7 council member, where I served 2 terms as city councilman, 2 terms as vice mayor or mayor pro tem, 2 terms as the development authority chairman that Ms. September is a part of. And I also actually chaired that department and founded it as far as legislating. I also wrote legislation to activate our urban redevelopment authority under my leadership as a councilman in the city of South Fulton. As an elected official, I would say I passed some of the most progressive legislation in our region. Just a little bit, I raised the minimum wage, as we've been talking about, to $15. We had firefighters running to things that everybody run from that was making less than $15 an hour when we started our city. I am also a retired police officer where I served about 25 years ago. I was sergeant of the police department in Clark Atlanta University. I spent the last 10 years of law enforcement in the schools in District 68 as a school resource officer. But I also wrote the first and only in the state legislation to end no-knock warrants. If you recall, it's been 6 years since Breonna Taylor was murdered in her home due to a botched no-knock warrant. 20 years this November since 92-year-old Katherine Johnston was murdered in her home as well.
That's your introduction.
Thank you for a lot of that is on my flyer and all of my legislation.
My first question for you is this. What are your goals for recreation work activities in the city of South Fulton for ages 12 to 17? Youth in this age group have very few options.
Right. So that's a great question for me, and I don't know if it was tailored for me almost too, but I've worked in South Fulton as a school police officer. I was coaching the basketball team at Bear Creek Middle School, and I've always been actively involved in our young people. And I learned as a part of that is that you can't teach a child you don't love, you can't teach a child you don't understand, you can't teach a child that you're afraid of. And so, working with a lot of the mentoring groups, like I'm a Father First, Next Level Boys Academy by Gary Davis, every Saturday. Good to see Councilman here, who I would see on Saturdays in there with us. We have kids, and he can tell you, with ankle monitors on their ankles because they didn't have the right influence, the right structure at home in order to make the right decisions. Part of the legislation that I passed was banning the box to actually get rid of those check marks on those boxes when it comes to those young people in those situations, because they don't want to be intimidated when they're trying to become gainfully employed. So we have to find resources to meet them where they are. I partnered with mechanic shops in District 68 to do apprenticeship programs. I've done workforce development. I actually spoke at the graduation 2 weeks ago at Burnett Park for our workforce development electricity program. So these are things that I'm already working on. I've always been grounded in. And if you need more information about it, you can go to bakerforgeorgia.com. And if you're interested, I can help any young person that you know that may need access to those type of programs. And it's not just electricity. We have plumbing, we have welding, and all of those resources, because we know, as said earlier, that everybody is not primed for college.
My next question for you is, do you support full equality and protections for LGBTQ plus communities and families?
I support equality for everybody. I'm a black man in America. This has really been my life. And if we're being radically honest, I've never had the ability to stand before somebody and say, yeah, you're excluded from this. That's just not our reality. I understand the concept of the question, but the LGBTQ plus IA community, they should have their rights. Women should have their rights. Black men should have their rights. Right now, we're up against situations that our government are trying to take rights away from individuals who come here and do nothing but work in the right thing. People who have been here forever, raised families, now they're sending them away. We don't have the ability right now, especially in this party, as we act potty trained under the Golden Dome, to discriminate.
My next question is, how would you describe a successful first year for yourself as an elected official?
Wow. A successful first year is me having the ability to make some of the legislation that I've passed become infectious. I passed the Crown Act. I see some people out here with love locks in their hair. We were being discriminated. I saw a young man get his hair cut off on a gym mat because of his locks, right? So I passed the Crown Act in South Fulton and ended natural hair discrimination. I would love for that to be a law that we could pass in the state of Georgia. Again, I raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Saw attempts to that. Thank you to Ms. Wick, who tried to make that pass. But that would be something that I would attempt to champion with my Republican friends across the aisle. I have several of them. We don't see eye to eye, but they need street lights too. On a lot of things. So I have the ability, I believe, to work with other people who don't see things exactly the way I see them. So I look forward to being able to pass legislation like ending no-knock warrants on the state level. Rest in peace to the gentleman. He passed away last year, but he pressed on to try to do this type of work, and I would love to see a lot of the work that I've done become infectious on that level. I also passed Central Park 5 legislation in South Fulton. For those, everybody remember the movie When They See Us? Those five, I work with Yusuf Salam, the gentleman with the high top fade in the movie. We actually worked and we passed the Central Park 5 legislation to actually protect juvenile rights when it comes to their interactions negatively with law enforcement officers. Those are things that we need to do. Now, there's a lot of legislation that's being brought forth on a municipal level, however, that will impact us when they start approaching the families of these kids. And that's only about decriminalizing poverty, which I also know that the predecessor, Derek Jackson, also tried to decriminalize 2 ounces. I decriminalized less than an ounce in South Fulton, not just for marijuana, but to decriminalize poverty. We had people who were paying $1,000 fines is too much in the towns. They can't keep their job when they have those fines.
Now is your closing.
That quick. Okay, so in closing, I am Dr. Mark Baker. A lot of my information may be found at bakerforgeorgia.com. That's Baker, F-O-R, Georgia.com, or the number 4. Again, I've worked, I have the experience, albeit I love the fact that we're all stepping up and you have multiple people who are running for this office. I am ready on day one. I do have the experience as founder of the Development Authority in the city of South Fulton, as well as chairman of that for 2 terms. I know what's going on in Fayette County. I see the future. I see what's happening with these data centers that our governor has allowed to happen up until 2033. I've spoken to legislators and lawmakers, and I told them how we can actually bring community benefits back to you guys if they properly tax them.
Thank you.
BakerForGeorgia.com. I can have this conversation all day.
Thank you so much. Next, we have candidate 4, Timoria. You have 1 minute for your introductions and 7 minutes for questions, then 1 minute for closing. The floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? I'll just talk to me. Good evening, everyone. My name is Timoria McQueen Saba. I am a healthcare advocate and policy strategist. I'm a wife and a mother of 2 daughters. One is in 10th grade and one is in 6th grade right here in Fayette County Public Schools. I am the best candidate for this role for many reasons, and I'm going to explain to you why. Number 1, I am the only candidate in this race who has actually written a state-level piece of legislation that has been passed into law. That bill was called the Act to End Inequity in Maternal Health. That bill formed a commission which went on to actually expand Medicaid, improve in-home physical and mental health services for people, and also provide doula care for new mothers at home. Number 2, I am a survivor as well as a fighter. I have lived the maternal health crisis. In 2010, I had a postpartum hemorrhage after the birth of my oldest daughter. During I had a 27-hour labor and lived to tell the tale. 13 months later, I had a miscarriage in the middle of a frozen yogurt shop. I didn't even know I was pregnant, just started bleeding in there. I decided to start telling my story, but not just to tell it, to actually make change. And that's what I've been doing for over a decade. Number 3, I have carried legislation and policy on my back with coalitions across the country at the local, state, and federal levels. I am ready on day 1, and I'm proud of it because I earned it.
All right. The first question, do you believe health insurance companies should be able to refuse to provide coverage for transgenders-related health care? Why or why not?
Absolutely not. Look at me, I'm a healthcare advocate. I have been fighting for everyone to receive equal opportunities under the law, especially, of course, in healthcare. That is my focus, health for equity. I cannot single any group and say you don't deserve it. Everyone deserves equal access to healthcare. What we don't currently have here in Georgia is a non-discrimination policy across the board. You can be discriminated on anything based on sex, gender, orientation. You can get fired from your job for no reason. They just have the right to say, we don't care what race you are, what age you are. We need sweeping legislation that cuts that out, and that's what I'm fighting for.
Next question is, what solutions would you support to address traffic congestion and infrastructure needs in Fayette County?
Well, I think really it's about making sure that people have the information before things happen to them, because what I find a lot of times is sort of like these sneak attacks. So what we tend to have happen is planning and zoning, these developers and all sorts of people come and they make these little side deals, and sometimes people don't know about it until it's actually affecting their neighborhood, until the traffic increases in your neighborhood, or a building is, you start to see trees coming down, you're saying, what's happening? I believe the role of a legislator is to inform you before that happens to you. It is my job to connect you to that information. I must be the one to say, hey, this developer is having this meeting on this day and time. Do you want this in your neighborhood or not? If you do, I don't know. If you don't, let's fight it. But we've got to do it together. But It's my job to inform you of that.
Well, looking at the legislation currently being debated in the General Assembly, which bills would you prioritize supporting or opposing if elected, and what is your reason?
I'm going to be very frank with you. Georgia is in a health crisis, and I obviously have the background to solve this issue, right? The Black maternal health crisis is a disgrace, and the reason why is because we're not being bold enough with our language here. We have got to name it for what it is. This health crisis is due to racism. That is the cause. In 2021, the CDC declared racism a public health crisis. Okay, so let's think about COVID for a second. COVID was declared a public health crisis, right? We saw all these billions of dollars of resources, had a vaccine within a couple of months, maybe several weeks, right? But when we say racism, crickets, right? This is what I fight for, to bring the language out of the shadows, to bring it to people's faces, to say, we are not going to shy away from naming this problem. We're going to build coalitions that are going to solve the problem. I'm going to write a policy to push that legislation through. Georgia, you will get this F grade in healthcare to an A with me as your representative.
What would you say is your personal responsibility to the voters in Fayette County, Georgia?
My personal responsibility is what it has always been as an advocate. I remember, the reason why I became an advocate is because I was so mad that people weren't listening to me when I was talking about the healthcare issues and how it affected different communities. I carry that same thing with me with you in terms of that. My goal is to make sure that not only your voice is heard, but the job of a legislator is to connect your community needs to policy implementation. That is the job. So my job is to come to you and say, we're going to meet, what are your needs, what are your concerns? Then we start writing the policy, and I want to make sure your voice is there. It's not just me by myself. You will be present with me throughout the duration of that policy implementation.
Data centers are being built in Fayette County and throughout Georgia without infrastructure. What are your suggested next steps to lessen the impact on our communities?
So I'm walking in on day one with 8 bills written. One of them is called the Community Protection Act. We only have 28 days to write. The legislative season is short. It's 40 days top. So you've got to walk in ready to go. So as far as the Community Protection Act, what my goals are with that is I want a full moratorium on data centers, and I'll tell you why. At minimum of 2 to 5 years, because it takes 2 to 5 years to actually develop a study to determine impact on your health. You don't know what's happening, right? Maybe you're developing a little bit of a cough that you never had. Maybe a little bit of a sore throat. Where's that coming from? Well, now we know there's less trees in the neighborhood. Maybe there's a little more dust. We need to make sure that these developers are held accountable for what they're doing to the community. We don't know the harm yet because we haven't done the work to study it. So I want to build coalitions, task forces that will study it. We need to partner with the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, the American Lung Association. These are all entities that other states partner with all the time when they're doing things like this so that they can study environmental impact on people. Again, we cannot continue to let developers come in and change our neighborhoods without understanding the impact that they're going to have. That is not just short term, but long term. I'm not looking at today. I'm looking at 5 years from now, 10 years from now. My daughter right there is 12 years old. I want to make sure that she has a healthy life. Thank you. Well, everybody, thank you so much for your time this evening. Here's what I want to say to you. Taxpayers, we're your money. You're paying for us, right? Our salaries, you pay our salaries. I want you to look at all of us as investments. And who is going to give you the best return? I'm a proven winner. I've gotten legislation through as an advocate on the outside of the State House. Imagine what I can do for you on the inside. Your voice will be in there. You will be right with me as I carry the legislation that you want to see pushed through. I promise you, I will be accessible, I will be transparent, and I will always make sure your voice is heard in that State House. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next we have Candidate 5, Jonathan Bonner.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Jonathan Bonner. I'm the single father to a 10-year-old boy, former caregiver to a disabled vet, also a lifelong resident of District 68. I went through the school system, North Fayette, Flat Rock, Sandy Creek, graduated. I even, for a stint, I went to South Fulton, Creekside, so just for like a semester and didn't that much. But all that being said, I am the Vice Chair of the Fayette Young Dems, also the Vice Chair of the Georgia Young Dems Veteran Caucus and Labor Caucus. I am a person that is willing to actually be in the community, and I have tangible things that I have done. I have fed over 2,000 families. I have given away over $6,000 worth of school supplies. I have done community cleanups all throughout the district. I'm making sure that no one's forgotten, because this is where I was born and raised. I got my hair cut over by Shannon Mall. I've been throughout Fayette County, Tyrone, Fayetteville, Peachtree City, South Fulton, Fairburn, Union City. This all is my home. I want to pour into the community that poured into me. All that being said, on my professional background, I am a service director for a global tech company. So, IMAX, I have done projects for the White House. I work with DOT, GDOT. I am the person that's going to bring you guys to the table to make sure you guys know what's going on. Actually give us a shot for these grants. Send money back. I'm also a person that comes from family of servitude. Both my parents served in Desert Storm. My sister teaches at a Title I school. My brother is an assistant manager in the district. This isn't new to me, this is true to me. My family comes from this. So I want to be that person that actually continues that legacy. I come from this community. I have a lineage from this community. I think it's funny, Derek Jackson, his his godson is my best friend.
Okay. All right. Under the last Democratic governor of Georgia, the state of Georgia had a strategy to public-private partnership to digitally wire the entire state with a combination of fiber and high-speed wireless. When Senator Dew won the state of Georgia, it flipped to the Republican dominant. He killed the infrastructure modernization initiative. The result is that our state has fallen behind academically, medically, because most communities outside the greater Atlanta do not have internet access. Georgia once had a plan to expand statewide broadband through a public-private partnership, but the effort was halted, and many communities, especially outside of Metro Atlanta, still lack reliable internet for education, healthcare, and economic growth. They promised something, they got rid of something, and now they want you to do something. So here's the question. With federal funding now uncertain, how do you work across party lines to secure and allocate resources to ensure every community in Georgia has access to high-speed internet?
I have a connection to Republicans, and being from here, that's what our district is. When I get elected, I'm not going to forget about Republicans, but the current groups I work with currently, the Knights of Columbus, the Elks Lodge, all throughout, I know elected Republicans. Cliff Hoffman, Billy Campbell. I even have Brian Jack's number. Did I ever call him? No, but that tells you I can get things done. So when you guys do send me, it's not going to be something where, oh, it's a Republican letter. No, my policies represent our district and making sure that all the Georgians never forgotten. I understand District 68 is very, very important, but when it comes to policy, when it comes to bills, I'm here to represent Georgia.
Thank you. All right, as a high school student, what can you do to support diverse student needs or school funding?
So that's a major thing. I am a single father to a 10-year-old boy. My son goes to public school here in the county. Commissioner Russo sued, as well as the Fayette NAACP, sued our community, or not community, our city because of discrimination. I want to make sure that actually in our district, areas of where there are primarily people of color, that they're not forgotten. So I want to make sure that school funding, making sure that we actually have administration that represents the community, not just a community that's just full of people not from that background. All that being said, I want to continue to be an advocate, go into school board meetings, speaking with our county commissioners, making sure that they're willfully funded and things of that matter.
Okay. All right. What steps would you support to increase transparency and accountability in the Georgia General Assembly?
Tell everyone weekly, so giving out news updates, telling everything with bills, making sure that everyone is alert. I think a lot of these bills are so much word garbage that you really can't digest them. I want to make it simple. I want to summarize it. I want to make sure that you guys know. But I also want to make sure I'm speaking with my county commissioners, my tax commissioners. I want to speak with my city councilman. And that means actually having a conversation saying, this bill is going to affect our community. How are we going to protect it? So all that being said, talking to them, making sure that how are we going to address it? Should we actually have laws to implement this? But that's my thought process of that.
Okay, thank you. Do you support term limits for members of the Georgia General Assembly? And if so, what concerns do you believe is appropriate?
Yes. I'm going to be honest. Me being a single father to a 10-year-old, I'm going to be here for 10 years at most. And that's me passing the baton on. I'm not a lifelong politician. I'm a public servant. I'm a community organizer. I'm an activist. I want to help my community. I don't want to be there for the rest of my life making money. No. I want you guys to actually pay up. Even with that, I will make sure that you guys are aware that I'm stepping away. That 9-year mark, you guys will get that call like, okay, John, what's up?
You can now open your closing.
Okay. Again, you guys, my name is Jonathan Bonner. I'm from here. I want to pour back into the community that poured into me. I wouldn't be the man I am if it wasn't for you guys. Standing up straight, talk, look me in the eyes when we're talking, having genuine conversations regardless of where you land on the political spectrum. But that shows me so much. I want to make sure that my community actually is at the table when I get in the house. Actually has bills that pass and represent our community. I always tell people, 1 out of 10 people are veterans in our community. 1 out of 5 people are over 55. 1 in 3 homes have seniors. How are we addressing that? I want to make sure that we have affordable health care. I want to make sure that we're taking care of our veterans and caregivers. I want to make sure our schools are fully funded. So all that being said, I'm going to be the candidate that actually steps up to the plate, actually has been in the community for countless years, and has a proven record. And I want to help you guys. I want you guys to see me at Walmart, Kroger, Trader Joe's, on the golf cart paths, in South Fulton, in Fairburn. I think that's who you want as a representative, because I am the community. So thank you guys. That's all I have.
Thank you so much. Last but certainly not least, we have a candidate 6, Jane Williams.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. And thank you all for having me. I am Jane Williams. I am a caregiver, a community advocate, a voting rights advocate, a consistent leader. I am the first generation college grad raised by a single mother. I have built my career on serving people. And serving people from legal advocacy to community outreach, which involves organizing voter registration drives, assisting ex-felons with terminating their long probation sentences so that they would have a right to vote. And I've done that by using Senate Bill 105. I have been the primary caregiver for my sister for almost 20 years. It just goes to show that service is not just something I do, it's who I am. And I will do the same for you, Jane Williams. Thank you.
This is from a 14-year-old. What are the plans to advertise for new businesses on Highway 85? So many businesses have, because many businesses have closed, leaving empty lots and storefronts.
Well, first of all, we need to, when we're building these new businesses, one way is to have meetings, just like we're having a meeting tonight. We need to make sure that we pull the community in so that they can understand that if they own a business, that they can also apply for. First of all, we gotta allow people to get permits sometimes too, okay? Because in South Florida, sometimes we have a little problem in getting people permits. So if we want these small businesses to come, we gotta work with them. So we will have meetings in order to advertise for these businesses. We will get out flyers or emails. We will make phone calls. There's things that we do now, running for office. We got text messaging that we can do. We got mailers that we can do. We got emails that we can get a hold to. So we got phone calls that we can make. So we need to pull the community in. Now, I service a lot of seniors, right? I help seniors in their daily needs. And we got to make sure that we include those seniors too. I mean, because they're seniors, they're not deceased. So they might want to have some kind of business that they can do as well. Also, what I have learned is that by knocking on these doors, some of our seniors are lonely. These are some businesses that we can come up with, y'all. This is what I'm thinking about. So, one senior that I came in contact with, she is 81 years old. She is in good health, good spirit, good mind, and she was telling me, y'all, she said, I'm not supposed to be over there knocking on the door. And I said, well, why not? And she said, they're going to call the police. And I said, the police for me knocking on doors to tell them about that it is an election time? So then she told me, she said, well, come on over here. Because she's lonely, she wanted someone to speak to, someone to talk to. She invited me in, and I was like, you want me to come in? So, and I'm thinking about her welfare, her safety. So, and another time, I met another lady, 78 years old. And she was like, come by anytime. We'll sit on the porch, and we'll drink some tea. So here's what I came up with, right? Now, maybe I can connect those two together, and they can call each other on the phone sometimes, just to have someone to talk to. Now, both of them have kids, but sometimes, y'all, our children, when they grow up, they may not have the same values that we had when we were coming up. They going on about their business and living their life, and that's fine. When I grew up, there were certain things we had to do, and I had a brother that was sick with cancer at the time. There wasn't no going outside when I got home. We had to come in and take care of my brother. So with businesses, we need to make every resource available there is in order to reach and connect to our communities.
Thank you. What are the top issues facing District 68 right now, and what specific legislation would you support to address them?
So, District 68 faces, one is transportation. 68 is 71% of drivers drive alone. Now that creates an issue. It creates an issue because we are dealing with our health, right? Pollution. So we need to offer some kind of incentive for people who are driving alone. Yeah. That's the issue. Healthcare. Now we're going to talk about healthcare, okay? Healthcare is an issue. When, I'll never forget, when I went off to school, and I had gone to the doctor. The doctor had told me Now, which of this little old white doctor, y'all? About 80 years old. And he sent me up now. He sent me to another doctor because I was having some kind of digestive tract issues. Sent me to another doctor. The doctor performed a colonoscopy. I didn't know what a colonoscopy was at the time, but I knew what he said. In 5 years, I need to have another one because it got a polyp. I didn't understand that. Well, when I got back from school, I didn't have any insurance. I didn't have a job. And I wouldn't realize what the doctor was saying to me after my second colonoscopy, which they found a polyp, and it was cancerous. Now, they had told me that that was not going to give me a colonoscopy. They told me I didn't need it. So what I did was I told them, well, if you don't give it to me, I'm going to file a complaint. So they gave it to me, and that's when they found the cancerous polyp. Now, what if I had not fought for or advocated for me to have that? Who knows where I would be? Because Steve Jobs had the same polyp, or not the same one. So those are some of the issues.
You're closing.
Thank you all again for having me tonight. I want you to know that I did not just start this job today. I have been working through the years in the community, showing up, doing the work, standing by my neighbors, standing with my neighbors, with the community. I show up, and we need leadership that shows up. We need leadership that is present. We need leadership that is accountable. And that's me. I will show up for families, for seniors, to do this work. And just like many have already said, when we go to the Capitol, we need to be able to be transparent and bring this information back. And this is what I will do for District 68. So if you would trust me with your vote, and which I hope you will, then vote for Jane Williams for District 68. Thank you very much.
First of all, thank y'all so much. Give all the parents
Awesome. So we thank y'all so much for coming. When we opened up this event, we were so excited because we wanted the people to get out. We want everybody to be able to get all the information from the mouths of the candidates. So one of the things that we want to tell the candidates, thank you for accepting our invitation, first of all. So if you are a candidate, please stand and give them a round of applause again. Okay, so let me go ahead. I'm trying to read everybody's notes. Sorry. So thank the audience for actually giving a question. We were so nervous. We were like, nobody's going to ask any questions. But you came through. We're so excited, and thank y'all for being here tonight. April 25th is our general meeting. We will be having it from 11 to 1. And it will be the school board, the judges, and the school superintendent. So on the 25th, which is Saturday, come out and we'll meet again. We will be taking questions online, and we will also have QR codes, right? For that? Nope. No. Okay. We'll just come out and we'll be the same thing. With our newsletter, absolutely. Let's see. And we will also talk about house. So people don't understand, if people are unhoused, they still have an opportunity to vote. They can go to the voter registration office and use the address here in Fayette to go ahead and be able to register to vote. That address is 175 Johnson Avenue, Fayetteville. So please, if somebody's in a shelter, if somebody's unhoused, if someone's couch, and they do not have an address, you can get them registered to vote at the voter registration office by using that address. Last thing is, it's getting close. It's getting close. April 20th is the last day to register to vote. So please, if you know somebody that is not registered, grab them, get them registered, because we want to make sure that everybody uses their voice. We're trying to turn red and blue. We can't do it without you guys. Yes.
Can I have your attention just 1 minute? I know everybody's ready to go. But please, again, I want to thank everybody. I thank y'all for allowing me to moderate. But we did have some people who are running for office that if you just like to stand and wave your hand so people can see you running for judge or some other type of office, and thank you for coming as well. And the next time when there are 4 men that you can be a part of, please let the Democratic women of Fayette know. Thank y'all so much.